one of the most important things about my upbringing was the fact that the man who was responsible, my father, the man who was responsible for bringing up his children, my mom was, of course, as well, and I'm not trying to belittle or make that not the case, but the man who was responsible for bringing up his children put into our heads, I think from a very young age, a idea that it's awfully hard to keep there, but that I think is a really good thing if you're able to do so, and that is question everything. My dad was really about question everything. Now, I'm not saying he did a perfect job of that, and I'm not saying that I do a perfect job of it either, but it kind of feeds into this idea that I'm going to be talking about on today's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. By the way, I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is Saturday, the 25th of December of 2021. Yes, that's right. I'm making this on Christmas Day. Welcome to everyone who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Thank you for coming along today. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform, and the subject for today is consensus. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so it feeds into that idea, this idea of question everything. One of the things about consensus is that it's almost directly counter to the idea of questioning everything. Not quite, because you can question things and come to the same conclusion that the folks who come to consensus come to. All right, let me go ahead and take a minute and go through my notes, and this will sort of get you an idea of where I am and what I'm doing today. If you do a search on my favorite search engine, DuckDuckGo, consensus definition, you get the following. Consensus, noun, an opinion or position reached by a group as a whole, general agreement or accord, a general agreement or concord as consensus of opinion, agreement, accord, consent, a process of decision-making that seeks widespread agreement among group members, general agreement among the members of a given group or community, even of which exercise some discretion in decision-making and follow-up activity, average projected value as in the finance term consensus forecast. Obviously, I'm reading a whole bunch of stuff here. Agreement in judgment or opinion reached by a group as a whole. And this is coming out of the American Heritage Dictionary, as you can see from the thing that I put up when I started to read this off. So you can see first, let's go ahead on with my notes, and then I'll discuss this more as we go on. As you can imagine, I'm not a great fan of the concept of consensus, particularly in the ways the word is used today. One of my least favorite examples is the idea of scientific consensus. You see, even when you use the idea of position rather than of opinion, right? So people hold a position, which, by the way, is an opinion, rather than that of opinion. The one I think most folks tend to mean, which is opinion, not position, there's not necessarily a basis of fact or data underlying what comes forth as a result. Of all the problems I have with the term, this is the most significant. Now I'm going to sound like an old school pitchman, but wait, there's more. To begin with, when most people use the word, they miss the important couple of words in that first definition. What are they? As a whole. Most folks using the word consensus would have you believe the thing about which they're talking is unanimously accepted. Let me just help you out. I would never make such a claim. Never. This is one of those few times that I would never make such a claim. Why? Because it's patently not true in any situation. If for no other reason than that I disagree, and generally I can find others who are part of the, quote, scientific community, end of quote, who do as well. We do not have true consensus. Not unless you start talking about it not being a matter of unanimity, in which case, even saying the majority agrees, that's not necessarily all that significant a thing. Here's what you need to understand, though. Once upon a time, it was scientific consensus that the sun revolved around the earth. You see, even when there's consensus that doesn't mean what's being said is correct. Last thought for my notes. Which definition of the ones listed do people really intend to use? And this is an important thing, right? If you look at that definition that I had up on the screen when I started my little deal here, it goes wildly from place to place in such a way that you're going, wait, is this the majority of people? Is this a lot of people? Is this unanimity? What is it? Right? Is it opinion? Is it fact? And by the way, I'm pretty sure in that definition of consensus, the word fact and the word data never once occurred. Never once. Position, opinion, various other things, but never the words fact or data. Never did they occur. But here's the thing, and I just want this to be clear. Yet again, just because a whole bunch of people agree that the Jews are bad and need to be exterminated doesn't mean the Jews are bad and need to be exterminated. That's not what that means. That means that a bunch of people are willing to accept, for the sake of being part of a group, the idea that the Jews are bad and need to be exterminated. Would I ever state that that's a reasonable thing? Well, let's see. I'm a Christian, and as a Christian, I believe that the Jews are the chosen people of God, whether they've wandered astray or not, and therefore the answer to that must be no. Emphatically, completely, categorically no. I cannot agree that the Jews should be exterminated. I can't even agree that they should necessarily get their comeuppance for something or things that they do, and that's assuming that they do bad things. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people among the Jews who probably shouldn't get their comeuppance, but I'm not going to be the one who's going to be dishing that out to begin with, and more importantly, like I say, I don't care whether there's a consensus that says that the Jews are evil, for example. I'm not going to support that. And I don't care whether there's a consensus that says a vaccine that shows that it's not been efficacious is 100% efficacious. I don't care who says that. I'm not just going to agree because a lot of other people think that it's true. Come into a consensus, come into an agreement. I'm not doing that. And if you think it's reasonable to expect me to do that, you are the one who is mistaken. Let me just tell you something. People disagree with me all the time. Duh, that's no surprise, right? People disagree with me all the time. Am I telling those people, you have to agree with me? No, I'm not telling you that at all. You agree with what you agree with, you believe what you believe in what you believe in, and I'm not going to be the person to tell you that you absolutely must agree with me. Now, I would like it if people did agree with me, and I will work to make that happen where I'm able to do so. But the way I'm going to do that is not to coerce or to force or to shame people into such a position. I'm going to try and get people to understand why I am, where I am, and hopefully get them to come to agreement with me through discussion, through argument, even even potentially contention. And that's okay, so long as we talk about things, we're civil to one another, and we work things out. But let me tell you what I'm not looking for. I'm not looking to build consensus on what I believe just because I believe it. If you can show me I'm wrong, if you can show me I'm mistaken, my answer to you is by all means, knock yourself out, let's do it. I'm not a believer in consensus for its sake. And I believe at this moment in time we have a bunch of people who are holding with the consensus because they think that what's being said is good, or they're being shamed into it, or they're scared to not participate in the consensus view. And I'm just not going to be that person. And I hope for your sake that you're not going to either, because as far as it goes, what's going to happen if you do is people are going to push consensus on you that's going to be to the detriment of you and other people. I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree that the Jews or Muslims or anybody else or are horribly bad people as a matter of consensus. If I see that people are doing things wrong, I'm going to tell you that those people are doing things wrong, but otherwise I'm just not doing it. Okay, I'm out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host, I'm Kurt, and today is Saturday the 25th of December of 2021. That is Christmas Day. So we've reached that Christmas Day finally, which means we're coming very ever closer to the end of the year. Tomorrow will be Sunday the 26th of December of 2021. Will be the beginning of the Christian week for, as most Christians I think will agree, not necessarily all. Thank you for everyone who's been here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform, though I'm actually exploring other platforms like BitChute and Clout Hub as well. That's CLOUT, which I found kind of interesting, Hub as well. Remember that on Rumble, you can give me a boxing glove, which is a rumble, a plus sign, which is I approve of what you're doing or think it's acceptable at least, or a minus if you have problems with something that I'm putting out there. On YouTube, you can give me a thumbs up or a like, thumbs down or a dislike, obviously, if you like or dislike what I'm doing, and that goes for Clout Hub or BitChute. If there's a way to like or dislike my content, you can absolutely do that. On any platform where you find my content, if the comments are available, and particularly if I'm notified of them, I will do my best to look at those comments, and I will try to internalize them and decide whether or not there's something that I need to do when you make a comment on something that I have done, some content I have created. The subject for today has been consensus, and tomorrow we're going to talk about virtual and augmented reality. And the first thing that I really kind of want for you to know, we'll get into this in more detail obviously tomorrow, I am not a fan really of either. I'm a little bit more of a fan of augmented reality than virtual reality, but I'm not all that great a fan of either. Hope that you're having a good day today. Hope that you're having a Merry, Merry Christmas. Hope everything is going well for you and continues to do so as we come into this new year, that the new year is a good one for you. And hopefully we will see you again on Sunday's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Saturday, December 25th of 2021, Christmas Day. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that, and you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.